One of the stories that I dealt with is I had this gal come over to record, and I'm not going to name her for anonymity's sake, but she came over to record. She's 5 foot nothing, very small, 98 pounds, soaking wet. She comes over to my studio, and we're going to record a song, and she's going to sing. And she says, "Oh, is it just you here?" And I said, "Yes, but my wife is inside. If you'd feel more comfortable, I can go get her, and she can sit in." And she goes, "No. I like that it's just you here. Last time I went to the studio, I was in a glass box and 5 men sat on the couch and watched me perform. Jeez. They were friends of the engineer, and I was so uncomfortable, I didn't do a very good take and I left because they were staring at me in a very sexual way. And I was just like, ow, why are men?" I say that a lot. Why are men? You know?
PEP Radio is a part of the Pennsylvania Equality Project that plays music, news, and weather, actively advocating for the LGBTQ+ and disabled since 2024.
PEP Radio, available on Live 365, Roku, Alexa, and at paequality.com.
Here at Gay SA Radio, we're very happy to welcome the Othering podcast to our airwaves. Catch the show every Thursday at noon CAT, bringing fresh voices and compelling conversations straight to you.
Head over to gsaradio.stream to find out how you can tune in and become part of our family. Don't miss it, only on Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
Gay Hive Magazine, all about the buzz of content for our community. Our content is like no other. It's all about being real, honest, and raw.
We're always looking for new reoccurring content for the magazine and regular content writers for our website. Gay Hive is currently seeking sponsors. Email hushmagazine001@gmail.com for details.
Gay Hive Magazine, all the buzz.
One man and one woman join forces to rid the world.
What are you doing?
Of inequality and fascism.
Seriously?
I'm trying to do a promo here.
For whom? What are you doing?
Oh, welcome to the Othering Podcast with Mike and Dory.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
We've heard so much about you.
Yes.
Hopefully I don't disappoint.
All right. Today we're talking to Jam Phelps. Jam is a mixing and mastering engineer, educator, and proud owner of Denk Studios, tucked away on 30 acres in Southern Virginia. Her studio is dedicated to providing a welcoming space for underrepresented voices in music, with a particular focus on supporting women and the LGBTQ+ artists. With 30 years of musical experience, Jam is passionate about creating mixes authentic to the artist and dynamic masters. Her expertise shines in singer-songwriter, Americana, rock, and indie genres, and she's known for her ability to mix and master any song recorded anywhere. Jam has been featured on platforms like soundgirls.org, Stories in Sound, the Music Executive Podcast, and currently teaches for Beat Kitchen School. Welcome, Jam. It's great to have you.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
Very impressive little resume you got there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Glad to be here. I like to, it's hard to talk about yourself in such a, small snippet. So I just try to go, what can I include in this that kind of encompasses all the hats that I wear as a small business owner?
Well, it's impressive, though. I mean, being able to, and I see your drum kit and the guitars, and it's just like awesome. I wanted so badly to play the drums as a kid, but my parents were just like, "Oh no!" So I got the piano.
My parents are saints. I got my first drum kit when I was 14. I started playing when I was 10. I was in school band, and my mom and dad were basically like, "We're not buying you a drum set until you can play a little, and you can show us that you're going to stick with it." So it's been almost 33 years, and I've stuck with it. So
Nice.
making them proud. But yeah, a lot of playing loud and bad for a long time.
That's how you learn.
Yes, that is how you learn. And playing loud actually makes it sound better, to the people, because it's just so loud you don't know what's wrong or anything with it.
Yeah, chaos is chaos.
Yes.
Now it's cool because I don't play a lot of shows because my focus is audio engineering. So I play drums on more records now than I did when I was just a drummer. So that's been pretty cool. But yeah, and the guitars are for others. I don't play those. Okay. And then I try to make my background as music as, hey, musicians, look at my stuff as I can, because I do a lot of content to reach music artists. So I want them to look at what they want to look at. And if I'm making content for audio nerds like myself, I turn the camera around and then you can see all my audio gear for the audio nerds. So
that's awesome.
You have a very impressive setup there.
Yes.
I've seen it on Instagram. I'm a little jealous, and I don't care for music like that. I mean, I love music, but I don't care for producing it. I have no idea how to do that, but I like the technology of it all.
Yeah, mixing is definitely what I do, is a mixture of nerd and creative. So if for the listeners who don't know what mixing and mastering is, it's basically like music isn't made the way you think it is. Nobody is a band that gets in a room all together and they set up a bunch of microphones and then they get on a giant mixing board and they just play together that one take and then it's magic and they just print it out. No. So everything is kind of recorded separately. So you'll have the drums. So like a drum set will be like anywhere from 8, 10 to 15 tracks just for drums. And then you have up to, like on a pop song, you could have 70 vocal take layers and stuff. And so what my job is to take all of those tracks that are recorded separately and make them all sound cohesive and great together to be able to stream them on like Spotify or wherever you listen to your music. So that's basically what I do. And my focus is on the real indie bedroom producer, the girl that's in her bedroom recording, not the person recording at Blackbird.
Yeah.
So I take people who record in their bedroom and I make them sound like they did record at Abbey Road or something like that. It's like, there's albums I've worked on that I tell people, oh yeah, that was recorded in a garage in LA. And they go, no freaking way. And I'm like, yeah, it was a garage in LA that was recorded. And then they send it to me and I make it sound like it was recorded in a pro studio. So
I'm sorry, but that is fucking awesome. Yeah. And like badass on so many levels. Like,
I've always been fascinated with that process and movie editing because I know they get a bunch of takes and stuff. So my question for you is, when you have 70 different files of audio, how do you keep it organized and how do you know what goes where and in what order to put it and you don't mix them up? And how do you control that? I have like 4 files and I get confused.
So first thing is, it's all about how you organize. They call it a workflow, right? And so how I see audio is different than, like, I call them the bro-ducers, the dude bros that have an opinion on everything.
Right.
I got that from my boss at B Kitchen, Nathan. He calls them bro-ducers, and it just kind of stuck. But they'll tell you, oh, there's one way that you have to do it. But all I can tell you is my way, and if it works for me, cool. If it works for you, not. But how I do it is I get them all in there. I put them into the DAW, which is a digital audio workstation. The one that most people have heard of is like Pro Tools or Logic. Mm-hmm. I use one called Reaper. It's my favorite. It has kind of like an indie cult following. It's like the Rocky Horror Picture Show of DAWs.
Okay.
Like it's got like its own thing. But what I do is I put everything in instrument order, and I start with drums on the left, and then I go rhythm section. So then bass, then guitar, piano, auxiliary, any sounds that you want. And then I go vocals and then background vocals last. And I just do it like I'm reading a book. I just start on the overhead left mic and I unmute and I don't remute until I'm done with the last background vocal. And then I give that a nice listen, and then I go in and I do automation, which, nerd time, but automation is what takes a okay mix to a great mix. The dynamics of when should something be quiet and when should something be loud, and when should something slightly be quieter or slightly louder. So that's kind of automating where it goes. And then the final polish is the mastering process, which is like, everybody thinks it's this giant mystery of like, oh, it's magic. It's mastered. Oh, it's just literally volume control. It's making it loud enough to be on a streaming platform while automating, like making the different frequencies balance and be loud enough as well. So it's not just the overall, but it's how loud is the bass compared to the singer, you know, those kind of things, and bringing it up in a balanced way. And then once it's mastered, you know, it's good to go. Anybody can upload the files. And
so is there a trick to the volume mastering?
Yes.
And knowing which one needs to be louder and how much louder. And I was once watching, and this is a stupid example because it's fiction, but I was watching the Empire TV show Empire. And
I love that one.
And there was a episode where they played the music and the guy said, turn the vocals up a little bit. And it made 100 times better. Like I heard a huge difference, but I never would have thought of that. So like, and this is just going into nerd here, but how the hell do you know what volume to make each layer?
So what we want to talk about is this is actually quite interesting if you're a nerd. But there's something called LoufS, and it's how we measure sound as how it's perceived in the human brain. So everybody's heard of decibel, right? How many dB is something, right? So like a jackhammer is 120 dB, which can make you like go deaf. We all kind of understand that. Well, LoufS is how the brain perceives how loud something is. So if you have a sub bass, so coming down the street, you have a license plate shaking bass, right? And right next to that pulls up an ambulance and it has a high-pitched ambulance. Wee, wee, wee. Those could be the same dB or the same volume, same decibel. But the siren is always going to sound louder because our brains perceive high end louder than low end on the frequency spectrum. So what LoufS do is they measure how much perceived volume. So the sub bass could be at 6 dB and the alarm could be at 3 dB, but they could both equally be -6 LoufS or LUFS. And so it's just kind of like how we perceive sound. So a vocal that's sang, let's say like a higher, like an alto to soprano vocalist or falsetto or something like that is always going to sound louder than a bass guitar. So what you have to do is you have to listen to them in context with one another and change the dB to match and make them sound balanced. And this comes with, there's only one way to know how to do this, and it's practice. You have to learn how to listen to music. You can't just put on, you know, Toxic by Britney Spears and rock it. You have to sit down. You have to close your eyes. You have to put on the song and you have to go, okay, where is her voice sitting compared to the snare drum? Where is the snare drum sitting compared to the kick drum? Where is the bass sitting compared to the kick drum? Where are things in the field of the stereo? So why am I hearing something come out of the right and something come out of the left that's different? Because I'm putting those in the stereo field. And it's just this studying of listening to people and what people have done in the past, and then put your own creative influence on that. And it just takes a lot of time. And I got like the world's best fast track on this. My dad's an audio engineer. He did live sound.
That helps.
And and when we were kids, he had this homemade stereo and an equalizer. We had an equalizer in the living room.
Wow.
So yeah, he had an equalizer in the living room and a homemade surround stereo. And on Friday nights, he would turn on the black lights, turn off the lights. We'd all lay on the floor and we'd put our pillows. We'd lay our head on a pillow and he'd play us what he considered the best mixes. So like Jean-Michel Jarre's Oxygen, you know, like these old school, like what he thought. And he would tell us, okay, this is why it sounds good. This is why Led Zeppelin sounds good. This is why Pink Floyd sounds good. This is the song by Led Zeppelin that doesn't sound very good, but this is why it was important, you know? And so, I got ear training from the moment I was born. So it did kind of like fast track me a little bit, but yeah, you got to change the way that you listen to music. But I will warn you that once you change the way that you listen to music, you are ruined.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you enjoy it anymore?
Yes, I love it more. But I was like, I think I was driving the car. This was like my first experience with this. I was driving the car and I heard, what's the Evanescence song? wake me up.
Yeah, bring me to life.
Yeah. And I'm driving the car and I'm not paying attention and I go, holy crap, did they auto-tune the crap out of Amy Lee? My goodness, they did not need to do that. That is so much. I never noticed auto-tune before that. I listened to that song like 100 times. So you'll be able to hear things that you couldn't hear before. And sometimes that's good. And sometimes that's not.
Half the time I can't hear like the bass guitar from the regular guitar from the drums. I can't tell the difference.
My wife says she can't tell the difference between a kick drum and a bass guitar in a song, like most times. She always asks me, is that a kick? Is that a bass?
Yeah.
Is that a kick?
And half the time I can't tell who's singing if there's two singers and they're both the same gender. I can't tell who's who. I would be terrible at that job.
Sometimes they sound the same when they're different genders. So, I mean, but yeah, I understand what you mean because growing up, my parents were singers. And like they had a band and they were into singing. And then my sister and we did choruses and my sister was a part of like a state choir and all that stuff. And it kills your ears to the extent of you can't not hear auto-tune. You can't not hear, ooh, that was a bad note. And you're right that it makes it better, but at the same time makes it worse because you're constantly sitting there. Oh, they could have done this. Just, oh, that's flat. Oh, no, too sharp. And, you got to step a half down and it would have sounded better in this key or things like that. And it kind of, you end up being like an armchair critic, so to speak, because you hear those differences.
I'm the other problem.
Yeah.
I grew up with listening to the Carpenters and Paula Abdul. That's all my parents ever listened to.
Well, that's fantastic.
So I had like
There's nothing wrong with that.
I had no idea what else was out there until I met Dory, and then she showed me the world.
And I mean, the Carpenters, she's an awesome drummer. Like she's one of the best drummers.
She's a great singer.
She is a good singer. The only problem I had was just the time that their songs were, it was always kind of like that easy listening. And I find easy listening kind of, boring. And hearing her sing other songs that were a little bit more up-tempo, I felt like this was better for her. This would have been, a better genre for her to sing. Of course, me as a kid, like I have a right to say, you don't sing that genre.
Yeah, Karen Carpenter not only was one of the greatest drummers of all time and an inspiration because it was back when, girls don't play drums. But she had a almost dead to zero sense, perfect pitch. It was crazy to like, if you pull Karen Carpenter's music and you like put it into isolation so you can just get the vocal and you put it onto like a pitch correction software, you can see how perfect she sang. And it was just like enough perfection that there was still some humanity into it. And it's interesting. Like if y'all are ever in Virginia, let me know, because listening to a song in here in this room is a different experience than listening to it at home. So I have I got to shout them out, like Cali Audio. They sponsor me, so I try to shout them out as much as I can. But they have the IN5 3-way reference monitors. So I'm listening out of those, which is, you can hear every detail of a song. It's insane. And then I have a fully treated room, which means that I have sound treatment all around me.
Wow.
So like if I clap, there's no reflection on, at all. And I have a cloud, they call it. It comes down from the ceiling. So I'm in this little, hole. And what I do is I always say, whenever I have a new person over, a friend, family, whatever, I bring them up here, I sit them down and I say, what's a song you know really well? And they tell me the name of the song and I put it on and I put it in this room and I let them sit like right in my perfect seat. And it's an emotional experience because you're hearing things that you've never heard before and you're hearing it exactly the way that the person who mixed it wanted you to hear it. And so if you listen to the Karen Carpenter song sitting right here, I think you'd have a different feeling, than the easy listening, because it is very like, dentist. I hate to say that. I'm not going to say it, but I would say it. Dentist's office, easy listening.
Yes,
we're probably around the same age. Yeah. It was played a lot then, but like as you get older and you reflect on how music used to be, And I feel like old man shaking my fist in the air, but modern mixing, it lost warmth.
It does.
It's not make music warm again. That's
It's also not just that. It's like the fact that they keep putting these people who can't hit these notes in, and the instruments sound good, but it kills me when I hear too much auto-tune, and it's like, why didn't you just change the key? Right. Put it in the key that this person can sing. Because when you auto-tune the shit out of something, it just ruins it. And some artists don't need it. Like you said, Amy Lee, or even Pink doesn't need auto-tune. Don't auto-tune them.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
Why are you auto-tuning her voice? Yeah. Even Ariana Grande is a great example of just an absolutely incredibly talented. Not only is she a talented singer, but she is a Pro Tools wizard. She comps all her own vocals. She's been known as like the fastest vocal comper, which means picking different parts of the vocal take and deciding which ones you want to use. She moves the engineer and the producer out of the seat so she can do it faster.
I didn't.
And, and then what they do is they just dump all this like high-end air and auto-tune on her voice. And I'm like, just stop it. Yeah. And so like a great example of this is Sabrina Carpenter. So if you listen to a song like Espresso, there's no body in the vocal at all. It's all like really high end. And it's so much, they call it air, which is like pumping that 10 to 20K hertz of boosting that in the EQ. And it sounds so harsh. It's like tinny and harsh. And I saw her sing like on a YouTube, just in a club. It was like a low key unplugged thing. And she sang a song and I went, holy shit, she can sing. And it's beautiful. Yeah. And I hate Espresso. I think it's the worst song ever. And I was like, why are they doing this? And I say people, but it's not. They're doing it to women.
Yeah.
They're doing it to women because it goes back to the unrealistic beauty standards.
Yes.
They want us to lose weight, straighten our teeth, be this way, hold yourself this way, shave every part of your body, put tons of air and auto-tune in your vocal. It's the same thing. It's a beauty standard. And what I'm really loving right now, and it's actually getting me a lot of business, is my old school approach to music is becoming more and more popular because people don't want to sound like AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
And AI is feeding off of this yummy, yummy pop music that we've been perfection. And AI goes, oh, I can replicate that. No problem. And so I'm getting a lot of clients who are like, wait a minute. I would really like to sound like me. I'm a badass powerhouse vocalist with, all this low meat to my voice. And I do not want to sound like Ariana Grande sounds or Sabrina Carpenter sounds. And to sound like me. And I get them set up and I send them back their first mix and it's always the same thing. Wow, this is the first time I've sounded like me in a long time. And it's because all those, the engineers, they want to do what's popular, do what's modern.
Yep.
And I just want you to sound like you.
I would rather
and at the end
sound
of the
like
day, what's that?
I would rather sound like me. And it may not be the best, or, I don't have auto tune in my head automatically kind of thing. I don't have perfect pitch, but I try. And like, I'm drawn to the songs where you can feel the love of singing this song in these women's and men's voices, where you hear the pain or the happiness that they're trying to convey through the words, because that's what grabs me in a song, as well as, hearing the classical instruments mix with the more modern instruments type of thing. And I love that sound because it sounds so full and rich. And when you get the typical poppy type of stuff, it sounds so empty.
Yeah. And like, I love be a good top 40 song. Like, I love pop music just as much as everybody else. I mean, it's called pop because it's popular, but I don't work on it. I don't mix it because there are so many people who specialize in that. And I want to work with, these indie Americana rock, like R&B artists who have these incredible talents. And I always say my clients are the most talented, and I'll die on that hill. And I just love it. Like, I have yet to have a client that if we've worked on more than 2 songs together, I haven't cried. they haven't sent me something that made me cry. Or I always joke that like I'm gonna have to start having a cry fee. You send me something that makes me cry and an upcharge. But it's just so raw and passionate, and it's for the love of the music. And I've really gotten to work with some incredible talent. And one of my artists who she's like my age, like I'm 42. So she's like around 40, I think. And her name is Misty Mayhem. And she's finally starting to pop off. And she's been playing clubs and bars, and she just hit like 200,000 followers on Facebook, and she's selling out every single show. And I'm just like so happy and proud of her. She was trained by Bo Diddley.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. And to listen to her sing, like if somebody put auto-tune on her voice, I think they should go to jail. Like that would be criminal. That would be like a criminal thing to do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send you guys like a playlist.
Definitely. That would be, I love getting, playlists and hearing different people's takes on music. And it's a part of my life. I grew up with it, and it's an important part because like my great grandmother and my grandmother were concert level pianists. And so, being around all of the instrumental stuff and hearing the vocals, and of course, Julie Andrews' perfect pitch and all of those types of voices. And it's just, I think it makes life richer, getting a chance to hear all of the different genres and all the different voices in those genres. I may not love all of them, but
yeah, I'll listen to anything once.
yes.
Like there's some country music I love.
Yes.
It's just kind of like, I don't know. There's some genres that I have a hard time kind of getting in anything that I like, but for the most part, if somebody says, "Hey, I heard this song and I think it's awesome," like I'll listen to it. Like, there's no reason not to, because you can hear so many different like cool things.
Yeah.
There is one genre I cannot do. You'd have to tie me up and like make sure that I am bolted down type of thing to make me listen to. And for me, it's bluegrass.
Really?
Yes, I cannot stand it. It drives me nuts. It's not that it's ugly music. I'm not saying that. It's just not my cup of tea in any way, shape, or form. And like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I think like high jazz. So like, is all these like experimental jazz. That's probably the one where I'm like, okay, I can't.
No, I don't like that either.
I just can't. And yeah, a lot of people are like, well, you just haven't heard the right jazz. I'm like, no, I have, honey. I've heard the right jazz. And then probably like punk music, like pop punk, not really pop punk, but like, I don't know, anything that has that like drum beat over and over. And it's not the music that bothers me. It's the repetitiveness of the drums.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I listen to music, like I hear the drums first, because that's what I've been playing forever. But, but other than that, I get behind like, there's a lot of different genres that I can always find something good in there.
Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely something good in there. It's just, I don't find it. And that's okay. Cause everybody has their favorites, and some, don't like certain things. Like I love country. One of my kids is like, ew, gross. No matter what I've played old country, Marlon Jennings type of stuff, and up to more recent people. And they're still like, gross. What's wrong with you? And so,
is that just a kid thing?
I think it is.
I think it might be a kid thing. Well, it depends where your kid lives.
Of course.
In East Tennessee, it's not a kid thing.
Because me and my brother hated country all growing up, but I don't mind it now. Yeah. It's not bad.
Well, I used to hate it. I used to hate 90s country because my mom used to listen to it all the time. And then when I got to become an adult, I started listening to it because I miss my mom, like, just because we lived far apart. She's very much still alive, but like I miss my mom, and I would listen to it in the car, and I would like be my what do I call it, like the guilty pleasure, like the shame, like I won't listen.
Yes.
Now I'm like, whatever, I'll mix a country song. I don't care. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. I can own that. It's just hard because a lot of people associate country music with like a little bit of problematic behavior, but that's not really the case.
Yeah. Not everybody's dueling banjos.
So,
Yeah.
So what's your favorite genre to mix?
To mix?
Yeah.
Anything that has, well, there's probably two. One is anything that has just like a really full-bodied, powerful powerhouse of a female vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
So like, Americana singer-songwriter, like, but belty, just, they own that voice. That is my favorite.
Right.
Second favorite would be if you're having trouble describing the genre to your friends, I'm probably the right mix engineer for you.
Gotcha.
The like
I like
heavy fusion, like the album I talk about a lot that was recorded in the garage in LA. They describe it's Harlequin Jones, and they describe it as dark cabaret rock. And I would say that it's my best work to date. Like I mixed the shit out of that album. It sounds so good. Sounds so good. It's the first album I ever mixed that I actually sent a copy to my dad.
Wow.
Because I was like, you can't say shit about shit on this. And he sent me a text. He's like, A+ mixing. And I was like, yeah. But it's the Harlequin Jones Trust Yourself album. And it's piano, bass guitar, and drums and vocals.
Oh.
But it's rock.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Like, I picture the sounds coming together just, and, sometimes it can clash if you don't know what you're playing, if you don't know what sound you want out of the instruments. And I just picture this beautiful medley of and love for like different genres coming together. That's actually my favorite to listen to, is when it sounds like totally different genres and yet they manage to marry each other beautifully. And it's almost like telling the difference between artists who were trained classically and then went to rock versus artists who started off with rock and then tried to go back to classical. And the difference when you actually know what you're listening to is astounding at how well that certain people can just marry the two. And it just sounds like, why wasn't this the original classical music, from the 1800s type of thing? And then other times it's just like, wow, you're just
Maybe
hidden symbols.
Maybe you shouldn't have. This music is like, when I first heard the first song, Brutally Honest is the first one I did off the album. And when I first heard it, I was like, okay, this album sounds like you're sitting in like a speakeasy, but it's still 2020, not like the 2020s, not the 1920s.
Right.
And you're sitting in a speakeasy and there's smoke everywhere. And there's like an old school spotlight and you could hear the piano pedal like hitting the floor. Like this is the vision that I kind of got. And I was like, that's what I'm going to go with. It's this big sound that's also intimate. And I remember they had worked with these other audio engineers that were really popular, like famous, well-known audio engineers they had paid all this money to. And their mixes just sounded lifeless and flat and modern. And finally they found me on Soundgirl's Facebook group, of all places. And Amanda hit me up, or she posted this thing and she said, we make really weird music and I don't know who to call. And I went, pick me. And so she sends me this email. She goes to my website, which all over my website is like, are you queer? Are you a woman? Are you tired of men in music production? Like, hire me. And she's like, I read your website. I want to work with you. Let's start with one song. And I did that one song and they were like lifers and we became friends.
Awesome.
I always like become friends with my clients because we're all weird.
How can you not though? I mean, you're taking somebody's baby and making it an adult. And how can you not become best friends with those people? Because, you're taking a part of them. And yeah, I do equate it to having a baby because it is like having a baby. Because you put so much into it to write it, to make it sound the way that you imagine whatever's in your head. And then you give it to somebody to shape into something beautiful. So it's kind of like, how can you not become good friends with them? I would want to.
It's a trust for sure. And that's why I make it my point to work with the people that I do. I want people to feel comfortable and like they can trust me with their music And if you can't even trust somebody to get your pronouns right, how are you going to trust them with a song about being non-binary?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Starter Wife, they have a song called Envy, and it's so good. And it's about, saying goodbye to her, and her is the old identity. And like, it's just such a great song. And the band name is Starter Wife. How could you not love them? They're in Chicago. But like, can you imagine if Starter Wife hired me to mix their album and I was constantly misgendering them, and then their song is about not wanting to be misgendered, you know? And it's so sad because every single client that is not a cis white het male that I have worked with has told me a horror story about the way they were treated in a studio by a man in audio. And when I first started my studio, I wasn't going to just be the queer girl who helped queer people. Like, that wasn't my thing, you know? And then I started getting the stories and I was like, oh, screw this. Screw that. I'm making it my mission to be a safe space for women, because I used to record a lot more before I moved to the woods. And when I was living in North Carolina, I did a lot more recording, but now it's mostly remote. But I was like, I'm not going to let this happen anymore. And so I got really involved with Sound Girls and Omni Sound Project and, you know, all these women's communities. And I met the most incredible women in audio, and they just grab me by the hand and pull me up. And now those, like, it's hard to believe sometimes that those are my mentors are now my peers.
Yep.
You know, like, who we met through Cinnamon.
Yep.
She was my mentor. She was my teacher.
Really?
And now we work in we own a production company together, and we make music together, and she trusts me with all of her mixes and masters and stuff. And so it's like, you know, finding a community and really staying true to yourself and staying true to that community can get you really far in life. And it can really like allow you to, you know, get a lot of things. Like, I have a lot of music companies that sponsor me just because they want a queer woman on their page. Because guess what? We have money.
Yeah.
Right.
We have money just like everybody else. And if you see, if you go to an audio page, like for an audio company, and you scroll through, you know, see a single woman, and you are a woman who produces, you're going to be like, well, I don't want any of their products.
Right.
Right.
The girlies don't like them. I'm out, you know? And so like getting more women on the page, getting more, you know, audio companies to sponsor women and promote women in production. And it's changed so much. Just even in the 6 years that I've been out doing it like full time, it's completely getting so much better. And the representation is like huge.
Good.
But
I'm glad to hear that, because so many male dominated areas that technically really shouldn't be male dominated, because we can do just as well as they can. But it's disheartening, because I can imagine a lot of those stories that you have been told. And, you know, they always say that you could talk to any person who's female presenting, who is a female, and they will all pretty much have some story to say against usually a man. And it breaks my heart that happens, because yes, of course, not every man is going to do that to you.
I mean, even like, not to interrupt you, but like even in the language, right? You say that is a female that is presenting female, but then you say man, right? So even that, you should say male if you're going to say female, you know, like the word female in itself is so like degrading in so many ways. And so like what I try to do is, somebody says, oh, you're a female mix engineer. I say, no, I'm a woman mix engineer, you know, or I'm a mix engineer who is a woman. You know, I try to do that because like it's so in us. You know what I mean? It's like in our language to do that. And so I saw a quote the other day that was really awesome. It said, male dominated does not mean male required.
Right. That's a great one. And thank you for correcting me, because I didn't even like realize I was doing that. But yeah,
exactly. We don't even realize we're doing it. That's the thing that, well, it's so ingrained in there that like, we don't even realize.
It shouldn't. Men I get, do not, all of them are not predatory.
Mm-hmm.
All boys aren't predatory and all that stuff, but we got to stop the let boys be boys shit. And just because you're a woman presenting, female, however you want to put there, doesn't mean that you're not worthy. It means you're just as worthy.
Yeah.
And we need more of us in those fields that are supposedly male dominated because they just didn't open the door. That's the only reason why they're dominated. Not
Correct.
because somebody with a vagina or without a vagina that presents as woman can't do it. Of course they can. I mean, of course we can. And we got to stop that thought process of, well, I can't because they said I can't. And that's not true. But back to what I was trying to say too, is that we need to be able to see that not only can we do it, but we need to be able to have that option of finding that person that makes us feel safe so that we can flourish. Because too many times, and, you know, there are women out there, females, that, you know, aspire to the patriarchy and will be just as harmful. And, and I hate that too, because it shouldn't be that way. We should be able to trust one another with each other's bodies, just standing in a room. And, you know, like, I'm a hugger. I love to hug people, but I'm terrified of doing that because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to cop a feel or something. And that's not how it should be. I should be allowed to be myself just as much as you. And it's not like, but because of so many of those horror stories, I get scared that I don't want people to think I'm trying to be one of those horror stories too.
Yeah.
And
And it's all about like the consent of it all is all it is, really.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is be like, can I give you a hug? And most people say, yeah. And then it's enthusiastic consent. But if you say, can I give you a hug? And they go, I would really prefer if you didn't. You say, okay. And then it's all, you know, and so it's all about the consent of it all. You know what I mean? And I think as long as we go with that, but it's like one of the stories that I dealt with is I had this gal come over to record, and I'm not going to name her for anonymity's sake, but she came over to record. She's 5 foot nothing, very small, 98 pounds, soaking wet. She comes over to my studio and we're going to record a song and she's going to sing. And she says, oh, is it just you here? And I said, yes, but my wife is inside. If you'd feel more comfortable, I can go get her and she can sit in. And she goes, no. I like that it's just you here. Last time I went to the studio, I was in a glass box and 5 men sat on the couch and watched me perform.
Jeez.
They were friends of the engineer. And I was so uncomfortable, I didn't do a very good take and I left because they were staring at me in a very sexual way. And I was just like, ow, why are men? I say that a lot. Why are men? You know? But, you know, and so I kind of just was like, okay, how can I make it? So here's some just ground rules. If you're an audio engineer and you're listening to this, rule number 1, never hit on your client.
yes,
Ever. For any reason, never hit on them. And it's okay to coach them to be a better performer, but you gotta read the room and you gotta know when it's okay to say, hey, could you sing that better? And when you need to just let them try a couple times before you say anything and like build that trust, make people laugh, you know, make people comfortable around you. And there's a lot of stories where male producers will be like, hey, come over to my house and I'll teach you some stuff. And then we'll do a session and it'll be so cool. And these women get really excited because they're like, hey, somebody is offering me a seat at the table, right? Because it's so gay kept. They go over, they're excited. Dude's got awesome gear. And then it's instantly like, oh, well, now that I've got you in my lair, what can you do for me? And it's like, what? Like it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I come from a heavy customer service background on top of it. So like as a hotel manager for like 10 years. And so like, I'm like, I don't understand why people think that this is an okay thing to do.
Yeah. I don't get that.
They do.
And that explains why so many celebrities out there have so many problems and resort to drugs and stuff, because that's the treatment that they're always getting. And that needs to change.
It definitely, because it shouldn't be a casting couch. You are sharing your voice whether
You're
it's
the paying customer.
and you're paying for this, you should be comfortable sharing that with me. And even if there was no pay whatsoever, and it's just I'm doing you a favor thing, it should still be like a transaction of, I am a professional.
Yeah.
I'm giving you this platform, and you need to feel as comfortable as possible, because singing is so personal.
Mm-hmm.
So personal.
And
It's
sharing
so personal.
that voice, like, I am terrified of singing in front of people at times, because I don't want the criticisms of that was awful, or wow, you suck, kind of thing. And I got that, and it hurts like hell. And then to have somebody also being lascivious, whatever. You people know what I'm trying to say. And,
I got you.
and having that on top of that just makes it 10 times worse. And it makes people not want to share that art, that beauty of the voice, or whatever it is that you're trying to share. And it pisses me off.
I might be a little biased, but I would love to hear your singing mixed in well with some instruments.
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
I would love to hear
Let's
that
go
for
with
sure.
sentimental. Let's go with sentimental. Let's produce you a song. We'll do it.
I think that would be awesome, personally. I've heard her singing a lot, and she's good. That's always in the car.
I would love to do that.
Sound like, sound like you.
I want a one-hit wonder.
We got some catchy stuff.
Yes, you do.
Cinnamon and I got some catchy stuff. I love making music with her. But you were talking earlier about celebrities, and every once in a while I think about having a podcast just because I want to talk about this stuff, and I don't. But I want to talk about, if you guys are down, you
sure,
can edit this out if you don't like it. But Lady Gaga at the Grammys. Okay. I love Lady Gaga, so we're going to start there. Like, I love you, but she got up on stage and she said something to the effect, and there's a clip, you can find it and watch it later, about how this is for all the women who are in rooms with all men and their production choices aren't heard and their voices aren't heard and they need to be louder. And I've overcome so much making this album with my voice being heard as a woman, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Which is the most great sentiment ever. Like, what she said was great. However, you go to the wiki, you look up her Wikipedia, not a single woman worked on her album. And I understand if you're up and coming and you can't choose your team. Mm-hmm. But you're Lady freaking Gaga.
Right.
And you couldn't be bothered to hire one woman. Mm-hmm. You have 100% choice of your room at Lady Gaga's status. She could say, I'm not working with male producers anymore. I'm not working with men audio engineers anymore. I'm not. And I'm going to go in that room and I'm going to be the matriarchy and the queen of the room. And I'm going to have all these other women and I'm going to take their hands. I'm going to pull them up with me and we're going to win a Grammy. Right. But she did not do that. Yet she stands up there and says, why is it so hard to work with men? Don't hire them. Right. Stop hiring them.
Yes.
Right.
And I want to touch on that part where you said status. That is the key. When you hit a certain level, you have to share and bring people up with you, because that's where you get the camaraderie, the community that you need, so that we stop the, crap of the quote unquote casting couch shit that is not beneficial to anybody. Mm-hmm. And by bringing women with you, it makes them want to bring more with them. And that's how you do it, is you can't just have a voice. Right. You have to share the voice and you have to share the stage, so to speak, with them so that they feel empowered to do what you keep saying to do. Because just by sitting there and saying, well, use your voice. Okay, what if you're not in a safe situation? Right. How do you use your voice then? Yeah, how do you use your voice in a dark alley at night when you're just trying to laugh off in advance so you can go home? Right. So it's all about, we cannot succeed as women without allyship, accomplice status of men. We can't, because if men aren't willing to hold the door open for us, for lack of a better term, we have trouble just trying to break through that ceiling by ourselves. And there have been just a lot of
good guys who hire me because they want to show that, like, yeah, I'm a straight white guy, but I'm going to hire a woman engineer because I think that's cool. And also, they hate the toxic masculinity of the producer as well. And so,
and how can you not?
Yeah. So I like to preach that I do work with allies. I do. If you want to be an ally and just hire a woman, and I found a lot of artists, male artists, who are like, I found you on, Sound Better. All I did was I scrolled until I saw a woman's picture, and then I decided. And I'm like, that's great, so it is important to have that. But it's also like, if we can't even get women of Lady Gaga status to hire us and bring us up,
right?
How the hell are we supposed to make it?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Be a girl's girl.
Right.
Yeah. And, you say that, and it is so true. I grew up, of course, in the 90s, and it was very, girls are gross, and you got to keep them afar because they'll steal your man, or whatever bullshit that is that they love to tell you. And I have always had troubles, and it turns out because I'm neurodivergent, but neither here nor there. I always had troubles staying friends with females. I felt like more comfortable around males, and that's just how it was growing up. But I still want to hold the door open. I still want others to succeed. If I can't do it, then please, by all means, go past me and do it, because I still want to see you succeed as a female, as a woman, as non-binary person who happens to look feminine, or a man who looks feminine. I want all of them to succeed if I can't do it necessarily. And of course, my views have changed since I understand myself better, but I don't understand wanting to, keep your fellow females, women, out of the way so that you can succeed. No offense to Taylor Swift.
It's not it's not a competition.
And
it's not a competition.
No.
There's plenty of work for all of us. And so, like, if a woman hits me up and goes, "I have an audio question," I'll answer that shit for free any day of the week. I'm very active on SoundGirls. I'm very active on Instagram. Like, if you have a question, I will answer it. And I always tell them, I just want more women to get into this industry.
Right.
I think it's beautiful.
If I can be a person who helps you mix your own song, cool. No one is going to open up a session and mix it exactly the way I do.
Right.
So if I show somebody verbatim, because I teach a lot, like I do mix classes for Bee Kitchen stuff. If I teach you verbatim how exactly I mix something, and even if you tried to copy it identically, it's going to sound different because you have your creative style and I have my creative style. And so it's not a competition. And whether, Jane Doe decides that this person's creative style is more suited to their music than mine, then I don't want them to hire me because they're not going to like my mix. And at the end of the day, all I care about is you loving your song.
Right.
It's not about me. I want you to love your song. That's all I want. Does that mean that I always get to make all the decisions about your music that I would personally want? No, I don't. But that doesn't matter. Does it have to go in my portfolio? No.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, anyway.
No. I think I 100% agree with you but here's the thing. So many men have been doing, the engineering for a long time, and some of them have exquisite ears, and I do not disparage that. But let's say you were around when Stevie Wonder did his magnum opus, Songs in the Key of Life. Mm-hmm. Your twist on it, your creativity to it could have made it sound so much better than just that guy that did. I mean, not that he did a piss poor, job. I mean, come on. It was a beautiful album. But we have to think of it in terms of what could you bring to it though? And because art matters not just to who makes it, but who listens to it, who sees it too. And when you bring all of these different voices, you want the difference though, because there are things that, say I was an engineer, that I would hear that you may not hear, but vice versa. And you could make it better than I could or something like that. And that's what makes it beautiful, is that we all have our own set of ears, and we can all make it sound different. And we need that because having the exact same people do the exact same thing over and over again is when you get that hollow bullshit that it's like, yeah, it's catchy, but it's like the SpongeBob earworm thing where you just try and find some other tune to get it out your head.
Yeah. And it's how we get AI.
Yeah.
It's how we get AI music. It's the same shit being regurgitated. It's the snake that eats its own tail until it's, a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. And I think we're going to see a great split in music right now. There's going to be the Suno AI pop split this way and the people who are revolting against it this way. And I'm on the team of the revolt. And I think if you want to use AI and have fun and make music, whatever, it's your life. But if you want to make a great fucking song, just call me up. Just hit me up. Denk Studios.
AI can mimic a lot of things, but the thing that it can't do is the heart. Right. It can't mimic the heart. And when you love the art that you're doing, there is nothing that can ever mimic it. Mm-hmm. It can sound like you, fine, but it'll still not sound like you because it's not putting the heart in it. Just like there's no other way. As much as Ariana Grande sounds like Whitney Houston or Pink or things like that when she mimics them, there's still something different. Mm-hmm. You can hear it. And she can't 100% mimic the way that they put their heart into the song because it's different. Mm. And that's what makes all of it gorgeous. That's what makes it worth listening to, is when you get those people that are belting the fuck out of a song because it means that much to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Nathan, I have a lot of Nathanisms from Beat Kitchen, but he says, there is no such thing as auto care.
Right.
There's auto tune, but there's not auto care. And that's definitely the truth.
Yeah. It is. It's 100% true. Is that there's no way that you can automatically create a care and a soul. Mm-hmm. That's what's missing.
I mean, you listen to songs like one that anything Damien Rice, first of all, like that'll make you cry. I have a strong no Damien Rice in the winter policy because his songs always make you cry. But it's a song by the Civil Wars called Poison and Wine. And when people say like, oh, why don't you like AI music? That's my song I play for them. And I'm like, can AI do this? Mm-hmm. This song will rip your heart from your butthole. Like it is so intense and beautiful. And like, you can hear everything and the voice crack. Or my favorite is Billie Eilish singing When the Party's Over at the Grammys. Mm-hmm. She's singing and all of a sudden she goes like really slight breath, like, and it's like, that was it. That's what broke your heart. That's what cracked your spine. It wasn't the beautiful performance and the perfect vocals. It was that breath. Mm-hmm. And those are the little nuances that like I will always leave in a mix. I will always leave that there because that is what AI removes. That's what like over processed pop music removes. Mm-hmm. It takes those little human moments and just goes, not perfect, erase. But if you leave that stuff in, if you embrace it, and sometimes I have to talk the artist into it. I'm like, please let me leave that in there. And they're like, my voice cracked. And I'm like, please, I beg you, I'll give you a discount. Let me leave it. And so most times I get yes. And sometimes they go, no, it just sounds like I made a mistake. And I'm like, but yeah, like those are the things that are gonna keep our humanity and set us apart. And you're gonna be able to tell like, right away. Oh, that's a real person. You know?
And thank you for saying that because there's a shitload of times when I'm singing and my voice cracks and I get so embarrassed and like thinking, oh crap, this, you're not supposed to do this. You're supposed to hit those notes right on. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can't, sometimes you can, but I always thought, oh, that's wrong. Nobody would ever want to hear me sing because I can't 100% do that all the time. And it's not like I'm fishing for the note or something. It's just sometimes your voice cracks. And I didn't understand the beauty behind it until you just said all of that. And so, thank you. Because
you're welcome.
It's those little moments that make it human and just make you cry and, with tears of joy or sadness or whatever. That's why, when Elton John sang sad songs say so much, that's what he's talking about, is when it's not only just sad songs, it's happy songs too, because you hear the pain or the anguish or the happiness and the strength. That's what drives you to it.
When you hear someone
Absolutely.
singing live and it gets them choked up mid-song, those are the best.
Yeah.
Even though that's something they're singing isn't good because they're crying, but those are the best songs.
No, it's great.
They give you the goosebumps.
The person about to cry, like there is a song. So my first client ever is the most amazing woman on the planet Earth. Her name is Susan Hensky. She's my hero. I love her so much. She was my first client. We released her first EP on her 68th birthday because she couldn't find a studio that would work with someone her age.
What the fuck?
Wow.
I get emotional. Like I'm going to cry on your podcast now. But she had this song where she was singing about her brother, and I couldn't get through the mix. Like I had to stop like every line, turn it off, walk away, come back, try to mix it. And I'm like, just mix. I mean, it probably was to this history. Sorry, it's Mike. To this history of time, I have not had that much time to mix a song because I was just the emotion and the way that when she was singing, her voice was barely there and it was cracking, and she was so emotionally devastated about the loss of her brother, and I couldn't hang.
Yep.
And I was like, this is how you know the song is good.
Right.
Yes.
Yep. When you've got the
And I
feeling
wanted
behind
to
it.
honor it, like the mix, I wanted to honor it. I wanted it to be what it was. I didn't want to clean it up too much. I didn't want to use the best vocal take, and people relate to that. And we have to, as human beings, hold on tight to that kind of music. We have to.
Yes.
We have to hold on tight and get our hands on as much authentic music as we can, because the day we lose that, it's going to be, you might as well pack our bags and
Yep.
heck to the planet.
And I can't remember what song it was that we were listening to recently. And I think it was an Elton John song, because I like Elton John too. And he was just playing on the piano, and you could hear the joy in his hands just flying across those keys. And it moves you. Like when I was younger, I didn't think anything of it. I just heard the sound and it's like, yeah, I like it. But as I got older, it's like, oh my God, you hear the joy in how they're playing the piano, or damn, that drummer's loving this song. And that's what I want out of music. I want to hear that, humanistic side to it.
You need to hear the feeling.
You do, because when you don't have the feeling, that's when it sounds like elevator music. Not that there's no feeling in that. There is. It's usually boredom, but there's still. You want more than that.
Just like a podcast wouldn't sound good if it was just some monotone voice.
Right.
Just talking for an hour and that was it. No laughing, no feeling. You need feeling behind everything.
Yeah, that's what makes it
Exactly.
fun. And as much as it may seem, like, what are you talking about? Why would you want to cry or be in pain or feel that? Because everybody at some point in their life has felt pain, has felt that innate sense of, holy shit, my life sucks right now. And you need those songs where they're just crying and screaming and just not, literally screaming. Although that's for when you're angry, but
Yeah.
and it's just that, but those songs hit you. And so it's like you can release that anger, that sadness. And then when you're in a good mood and you can hear the people on the trumpets, just, they're laughing. It sounds like the trumpet is laughing. It's like, those are enjoyable moments.
Yeah. Like there's songs that are like impossible not to be happy.
Yep.
Yes.
So like Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't care who you are. When that song comes on, you're happy.
Yes.
You're happy and you're dancing and you're singing whether you're good at it or not. And you're just like, this is the best time and it's just so fun.
Right.
And then there's songs where you're like, I'm so in it right now. I just got my heart broken or whatever. Like I remember when, and again, this whole like women and the suppression of women, but like you can tell the difference when these Disney girls ended their contracts Like you get things like Toxic by Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera's Dirty, and you get all these great fucking songs because they ended their contract and they get to do whatever they want. But for me, it was, I was really going through like a horrible, like situationship thing, and Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus had come out. And I must have listened to that thing on repeat like 27 times in a row. And I was like, this is exactly what I need right now, because you want, when you're listening to music, you're like, oh, she gets me,
Yes.
you know? And that's what people want from music. And the best way to like describe it is just try to think back when you were a teenager and what songs you liked. I mean, you know, Mike, I know you were a teenage girl, but I was. Like what you think about like when you were a teenage girl and you were like, you know, Alanis Morissette gets me, you know, Fiona Apple gets me. And this is the kind of thing that I want to feel and relate to. And that's what music is for.
Yeah.
Yep,
And sometimes it's for a backyard barbecue and you don't really care, you know? So it's just like there's something for everybody.
But that's what makes it beautiful, is that there's something for everybody. And when AI gets hold of it, it just makes it so generic that it doesn't feel like, oh, they get me. It's just like, background noise. And you don't want to relegate your music to background noise, because that means nobody's paying attention. Nobody's feeling what you felt at that moment. And by the way, I can sing the fuck out of that Fiona Apple song, Criminal. I love that song.
Let's do it. Let's cover it. I'll play drum.
Let's do it. I would love to hear that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a cover for Insta.
Yes, that would be. Oh God. Okay, now I'm like, my vocal cords are freezing.
What do you got there? You got the Shure dynamic mic in front of you?
Yes.
I have one, and then she
And
has...
what do you have?
Mine's a Rode.
Mike, you got the Rode. Okay. I don't really care for the Rode on women's voices. It's a very like old school male dominated microphone, in my opinion. It's got a frequency response.
Works for talking.
But it will work. I'll mix it. Anyone's voice can be sung on any microphone, and I can make it sound good.
Yeah, and she could use this one if she needed to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the Elvis
the Shure
mic.
one is to this SM50A is probably the closest to the SM50A, is like a beta something. I forget the name of it, but it looks cool.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have to be the bearer of bad news. We need to start to wrap it up.
You should sing
we're
that.
out of time.
You should sing that.
I don't sing.
Yes, you do.
I don't sing. There's good reason for that.
Oh, shush.
Singing is for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're good at it or not, every human should sing, whether it's in the car or the shower or by yourself. Singing is joy, and singing is for everyone.
But not
And everyone
everyone
tells you,
singing
"Shut
should
up."
be heard.
Maybe not like on the mainstream, on the voice or whatever, but it should be heard by the people that you love when you're all in the car.
She's heard me sing. That's enough.
There you go.
I'm sorry. That was just
And look how much
beautiful.
joy brings her. Look at her being so joy. That's what
So,
singing's for.
before we go, do you want to let people know where they can find you, or website, Instagram, whatever else you want to put out there?
Yeah, my Google game's on point. So you can just Google either Jam Phelps, jam like peanut butter and jam, or Denk Studios, DENK studios.com. It has all my socials, my email. And if you're a marginalized voice in music and you're looking for someone to handle your songs with care, I respond to everything, DMs, emails. Follow me on Instagram for mix tips and audio gear reviews, and Jam's hot takes on singing. And yeah, that's everything.
So you do voice lessons?
I do not do voice lessons. I am not a great singer myself. But
I think Cinnamon does.
Yeah, Cinnamon does. I know.
voice lessons. I have many a vocal coach in my atmosphere. So Jamila, Claire, I have lots of vocal coaches in my world. And I have producers in my world, mostly Sentimental Productions. If you need a producer, we work together. So she produces and then I mix and master the production as a package. So it's a really good deal. So you're not having to hire 3 people. You just have to hire 1.
Right.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think that's also that whole gatekeep shit that needs to go away, is where you have to go through 20 million different people to finally get heard, and that's not how it should be.
Mm-hmm. And if you're on my website and you don't hear anything in my portfolio that sounds like you, hit me up anyway, because I have a large referral list of amazing women in audio who I can send a referral to. So you can still work with someone who is queer friendly or queer themselves or a woman or trans or non-binary or whatever you're looking for. I can refer you out.
Awesome.
Yes, and definitely do that, people. Get your songs out there, and let's take over all the aspects of the world.
And
I do offer, I offer a sliding scale. So if you're, I like to joke that my sliding scale starts with Black trans women and ends with cis het white men. So if you're somewhere in that spectrum, there's where your discount goes. But if you do need help, don't ever let money stop you from putting music out.
Yeah, because we need it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Othering Podcast by Mike and Dory. Please like and follow us on all of your favorite social media.
The Othering Podcast is produced by LoudCore Productions, graphics by Josh, and music by Jordy James.